Hi guys, and welcome back to yet another side quest. So I'm sorry that you didn't see the first part of me doing this quest. Timberly, jag säger jag brought a fairy. Just like I promised, this is Maribel. I'll be feeding and taking care of it. Nice to meet you, Maribel. Bzz. It seems Maribel not me biggest fan. That's perfect. It is, but wouldn't it be better if the fairies liked and trusted me? Think about it, Hagrid. If you can figure out how to convince Maribel to listen to you now, you should have no problem persuading the fairies in your garden to move. Then I could relocate them before Professor Snape can find them. Exactly. Yeah, that is what this quest is about. The fairies, they are Snape will. Yeah, it's an ingredient in potions, fairy wings, I think. And Hagrid wants to like save them or something. So where should we start? You're the creature expert, Hagrid. I should be asking you that question. To be honest, Timberly, I haven't got much experience working firsthand with fairies. I know they're vain and they always primping and preening, but I'm not sure how that will help us. That's why I was hoping you find an idea on how to win over a fairy. Flattery. You should try to bond with Maribel by flattering it. Then it will be more likely to listen to you. Good idea, Timberly. Fairies are vain creatures, after all. Go on then, Hagrid. See if you can get it to come around to you with flattery. Your wings are looking quite nice today, Maribel. Buzz. In fact, you must be the prettiest fairy I've ever seen. It worked. Maribel's really warmed up to me. Brilliant. Now we know flattery is the way to go. With a little polish, I bet we could perfect a way to persuade fairies. This proves it. Playing to a fairy's vanity is the best way to persuade it. If you try that with the fairies in your garden, you should have no problem convincing them to move. This is great, Timberly. I can't wait to try it out. Hold on, Hagrid. It might be a good idea if I study fairies a bit more first. That way I will know how best to react in case something goes wrong. A little extra study never hurt anybody, I suppose. I will go and do some research and then meet you when I'm finished. Gain 150 knowledge points. What? What do you mean? What on earth? Okay, I need to do some random potions lessons, I guess. See you guys in a bit. Thanks for coming and bringing your fairy, Timberly. Hagrid, what's the matter? We weren't supposed to meet up until later. It's Professor Snape. I saw him looking around me hot for fairies. He's already begun to hunt for them for their fairy wings. I know I told you I had waited before I started relocating them, but there wasn't any time. So I took advantage of Professor Snape returning to the castle for supplies to talk to you. Talk to the fairies. To the fairies, he means, yeah. You made the right call, Hagrid. How did it go? Good at first. I was able to use what we learned about flattering fairies to persuade them to move. In fact, I was in the process of relocating the fairies one by one when Professor Snape returned. Oh no, thankfully I had already relocated all but one of them. But the last fairy was so startled by Professor Snape that it flew off towards the castle. That's why I called you and Maribel here. I figured the best way to find the fairy is with another fairy. So will you two help me find the missing one before Snape does? He headed in this direction. Of course, I agreed. Let's search around a bit. I'm sure we will find the missing fairy. That's odd. There's no sign of fairy around here besides yours, of course. But I could have sworn I saw it come this way. Did you say you're looking for a fairy? Yes, one of Hagrid's. Did you happen to see one, Penny? Actually, yes, in the potions classroom, though. It was such an odd sight I thought I must have imagined it. Oh no, Professor Snape will find it for sure. Don't worry, Hagrid, I have a plan. Penny, I promise Hagrid I'll help prevent Snape from finding the fairy and taking its fairy wings. But in order to do that, I need your help. Will you rescue the fairy from the potions classroom while I distract Snape? I'm not sure, Timberly. I'd rather not do anything to get on Professor Snape's bad side. But if you got a convincing reason, I might change my mind. Penny, out of all my friends, you're the only one I can trust to safely get the fairy without getting caught. I can't think of anyone more dependable and more suited to this job than you. Well, when you put it like that. Alright, Timberly, I will help you find the fairy and get it out of the potions classroom. I personally don't see the harm in collecting a fairy's wings for potions, but this is clearly important to you and Hagrid, so I'm willing to lend a hand. Thanks, Penny, you're the best. But I really don't know anything about working with fairies. If I do find Hagrid's missing fairy, how will I make it listen? Flashing it should work, but just in case, you could take my fairy along with you. Having another one of its kind around might help the lost fairy feel more comfortable. That's a good idea, Timberly, but that's a big task for the fairy. I recommend you spend more time bonding with your fairy first. Then it's settled. I will make sure my fairy trusts me and meet you in the potions classroom, Penny. Don't worry, Hagrid. We will get your fairy to safety soon. And I don't think I'm fully level with the fairy yet. Or am I? Yeah, I'm not yet full leveled. I'm level 6. And is level 10 the highest? It says max here, but I can't see what max is. But it probably is 10, yeah. So yeah, I will record again when I have leveled up my fairy. It's just gonna take a second for you, but several days for me, I think. Because you can only feed and bond with it once a day. Hi guys, and welcome to Fairy Tale. We're gonna rescue the fairy without Snape noticing. There's our little fairy. Oh god, I pressed the wrong thing. How is he not gonna notice? That's the question. Thanks again for volunteering to help me find Hagrid's runaway fairy, Penny. It's really important to him that we relocate the fairies before Snape has a chance to take the wings. You're welcome, Jubilee. As an inspiring person here, I might personally side with Snape on the fairy wings issue. You and Hagrid are my friends, and I'm willing to put my feelings aside for you. Besides, it looks like I won't have to look too hard. There's the fairy now. We're in luck. It looks like Snape's too caught up in his work to have noticed it yet. It doesn't look like he's noticed us come in either. Why don't we use this opportunity to go over your plan? Alright, first you will tell Snape you left something behind in class and want to look for it. Then I will distract Snape while you and my fairy try to get the other fairy to cooperate. But what if I can't get it to cooperate? What if it gets startled and Professor Snape notices? Don't worry, Penny. My fairy Mirabelle, it should be, not Maribel, will help you. Trust me, and it's prepared for this. Not to mention, I promise I give it its own mirror if it listened. Buzz buzz. Now quick, go hide while Penny and I go and talk to Snape. Excuse me, Professor Snape? Oh, Hayward and Ironclaw, to what do I owe this interruption in my work? I left my favorite quill behind in class and was hoping I could look for it. Your favorite quill? Yes, my mom gave it to me. It has very sentimental value. I see you very well. Go ahead. Thank you, Professor. Aren't you going to help her? Actually, Professor, I came along because I was hoping I could ask you a question. If you must, what is your question? About this bottling fame. You said in our first lesson that you could teach us how to bottle fame. Can you show me? Can I? Yes. Will I? No. If that's all, I have some important work to finish. Wait, actually, I just remembered I have a few other things I've been meaning to ask you. Oh god, he's mad. That's quite enough, Ironclaw. I suggest you take your incessant questions elsewhere. Haywood, perhaps when she finally manages to find the will. Why? Where are you going? Somewhere I can continue my work without interruptions. Good that they hide He did just in time. Penny, did you and my fairy manage to round up Hagrid's missing fairy? See for yourself. At first, Hagrid's fairy didn't want to cooperate. It loved looking at its reflection in the glass just too much. But with the help of Maribel, we were able to convince it to come with us. Thank you, Penny. Now I can take these fairies to the magical creatures reserve where they belong. You're welcome, Timberly. To be honest, it was quite exciting. Let me know if you ever need help sneaking creatures behind Professor's backs again. Okay, it's time to release the fairies. Or the fairy. Timberly, you managed to find the missing fairy. Yes, but I couldn't have done it without Penny and Maribel. With their help, we managed to get the fairy out of the potions classroom without Snape noticing. Snape will have to get his fairy wings at the apothecary like everyone else. Sounds like you have got yourself a good friend and a fine fairy. Thanks, I'd say so. You don't know how much of a relief this is. I've been pacing around my hut all day with worry. Now I can rest easy knowing all the fairies from my garden can live without fear or losing their wings. But will the fairies really be happy here when they have lived in your garden their whole lives? But if they've been happy in the garden without wings, then here with them. I suppose we will just have to release this lost fairy and see for ourselves. I'm going to take that as a sign that your fairies are going to be happy, Hagrid. And it's all thanks to you and Mirabel. I'm impressed with how much you're two connected. You really have a way with creatures. Thanks, Hagrid. I like to think so. Looks like Maribel agrees. At the end of the day, I know where to go the next time I need help with a creature. To my friend Timberly. And that quest is a complete fairy tale. And I got reputation with Hagrid? How awesome. The sad thing, you can't really level up his friendship unless you do the creature missions. I wish I could eat with him in the Great Hall. This was all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to see more content from me, I suggest subscribe. And I hope we see each other for my next video. Bye guys.